Let's take a look at working with some of the sound features available to us in Viewlet Builder 7. Now, sound can be added directly to a slide or a slide object, and you can record audio directly in Viewlet Builder 7, or you can import sound files. First, let's go ahead and select a slide, and then we'll click the sound icon over here to open up the sound dialog window. We have options for adding sound. For example, if we want to go ahead and record directly in Viewlet Builder, the first thing we want to do is check our recording options. In the recording options window, we want to select the format to use for the recording. If we want to go ahead and set a microphone latency, which is a slight delay in the microphone as we're recording, and of course we might want to select our particular input device. Once we make these selections, we can go ahead and click OK. Then we click the button to record. Once our countdown animation is finished, we speak into the microphone to do the recording. Now, once we're finished recording, we click the stop button. Now, it's important to click the stop button. If you finish your recording and directly click OK without clicking stop, your audio file will not be saved. Once you finish your recording, you can go ahead and then click OK, and it will add it to the particular slide. We also have the ability, as you look here, while we're adding audio directly to a slide, we can also opt to preview the Viewlet while recording. In this particular example, however, let's just go ahead with this particular recording and add it to the slide, and we'll click OK. Now you notice here in the thumbnail it's added a speaker icon to the bottom right corner of the thumbnail. This indicates that this particular slide has audio attached directly to it. And if we look along the timeline for this particular slide, we see the sound layer here that's been added. You do have the ability now also in Viewlet Builder 7 to add multiple sound layers to the same slide. But let's look at another sound feature available to us. Now, if we want, we can also add sound directly to slide objects. If you're not sure if a particular slide object has the sound feature available to it, just go ahead and select it. Then look along a second level context sensitive toolbar. If you see a speaker icon, that means you have the ability to add sound to the selection. So go ahead and click it, and just like before, we get the sound window. In this particular case, we can, of course, add sound directly to it by recording inside Viewlet Builder, or we can opt to import a sound file as well. All of the supported file types for the sound files are listed here, and we can go ahead and select a file, click open, and it loads it in the sound field here. We can opt to play it back at any point, just like the recording if we wanted to. We can pause it, we can continue playing it, and then at any point we can let it either play all the way through or stop it. Once we're satisfied with the sound file, we can click OK to apply it. Now you notice here it added the sound icon below the selection. This means that this particular object, the slide text, has sound associated with it. We could also add sound to images or, for example, shapes. Select the object, select the icon to open up the sound window, either record or import your audio file, and then apply it. Now, anytime you want to go ahead and remove audio from, let's say, the slide directly or from a selected object, you have to go back into that particular sound window and then go ahead and click the delete icon, and then click OK to apply it, and you notice the sound was removed from this particular shape object. Now you can also add the play sound action if you're working with events and actions. Now this is more for intermediate to advanced users, but let's take a quick look at this. So for example, we'll select this particular lip shape, and then we'll select the events icon. Now in this particular events, the shape events window, for the on rollover event, when the viewer rolls their mouse over the area here, or this shape in the published viewlet, we can go ahead and actually add a play sound action. Now in the play sound action, we have the ability to record audio just like we did before, or we can choose to import an audio file as well, which we'll do here. Once we've done that, of course, we can play it back as before. We can go ahead and listen to it if we want, pause it, and then stop it. Once we're satisfied, we have a couple of other options that we need to select. Now, if we're adding multiple actions or sounds to a particular event, we might want to choose the option for synchronicity to wait for the sound to complete before advancing to the next action or slide. We also have concurrency options for playback. If we wanted to play with other sounds, we can choose concurrent playback. If we want to stop just other event sounds, we can choose privileged playback. Or if we want to stop all other sounds in the viewlet, we can choose exclusive playback. Once we've made these selections, we click OK. It adds the play sound action, and then we can click OK. And in this case, you notice that we have a lightning bolt icon. That's because the sound is actually embedded in with the event as a play sound action. Okay, so that's another way you can add sound within your project as well. Probably, however, the most common use of adding sound will be for your message objects. So for notes, balloons, slide text. If you're going to add voice narration to your project, I would recommend that instead of adding it directly to the sound or the slide itself, though you can add multiple sound files to a slide, add it directly to the message object. That way, when it plays back, you'll ensure that when the balloon or the message object is displayed, the sound will be in sync with it. So you select the object, then go ahead and along the context sensitive toolbar, go into the sound window, click the record button, wait for the animation to play through. Then do your recording. Double click here to select the entire stereo frequency wave. Don't forget to click the stop button. You can play it back to listen to it to see how it sounds. Once you've done that and you're satisfied, you can go ahead and stop it at any point as well. Then click OK to apply it. And there it is, added to the message object itself. A couple more things before we finish up here. On this last slide, you notice we already have a sound file associated with this particular slide. Let's say around the 4-second mark I want to add another sound file. So I just click to display the playhead. I'm now in time select mode. And then I can go ahead, open up the sound window. I can either record audio at this point or I can select a file. Click OK there, or open, and then click OK. And you notice it's added the sound file directly at that point, starting at that point where the playhead was. So that's one little trick. I'm going to deselect to exit out of time select mode. Now I can move this sound anywhere along the timeline I want. But if I want it to play directly after the other sound here, let's say I want this sound to come up first, and I can actually drag the sound layers into any position I want here. So maybe I want that one up there. And then this other file, maybe I want it to play directly after that, so I can move it directly there. But for 100% accuracy, there's a better way to do this. I can select the first file, hold down my Shift button, then select the second one, and then I can add a timing link between the two from end to start. This way, now that they're linked together, once this plays, this one will play directly after it. And anytime I move either of these along the timeline, the other one, because they're linked, will move in relation to it. You can also export any sound files from your particular project by selecting File Export Sounds. And of course, it will prompt you to save the file before you export. And then in the Export Sounds window, you can choose current slide from a series of slides or all slides. Once you click Export, it will prompt you where you want to save your files as well. And then finally, in your Project Properties window in Sound Quality, here's where you'll go through all of the settings you want to use for your particular project for the published file. This will determine what type of sound quality will be used for your published file. So we covered this more in the project properties tutorial, but here's where you'll select the options for your sound quality for the published file. Let's cancel out of that. And that's pretty much all there is to it. If you have any questions on this particular topic or any others while working with Qarbon's products, please visit us online at qarbon.com. That's QARBON.com. Happy viewletting!